Alright guys, this is part 4 of our project here. I'm going to show you how to do brick pattern. A lot of you had that, and it looked like that was something that was a little difficult to do, and what I want to try to do is address the areas that you're having trouble with. So I'm going to show you guys how to draw this really nice brick pattern here using my ebony pencil, which is two-sided apparently. Just discovered that. And I'm going to show you too how to just create that dark look that you see over here, because again, what I've seen is that a lot of you know, your drawings are lighter, or they tend to be a little bit lighter than they actually are in the drawing itself. So allow me to kind of take you through that. Now, we're drawing a different surface here than maybe we've done before, which is this brick pattern, and it's not really brick, it's actually like literally stones or golems, if you will. They are all different sizes and shapes, and they're held together by what's called mortar, which is like a cement material, and it goes in between rocks to hold everything together. That's how this house was built. It's how they used to build them back in the old days. And so it's not a brick pattern that you could just use your ruler and lay out real nicely. So instead, I'm going to show you how to approach this in a little different way. So allow me to, I'm going to start at this big rock right here, and I've already kind of drawn my outline ahead of time. You guys, you notice I don't have a grid on here either. That's just because I just wanted to show you something else. So you of course would have a grid. So I'm just going to draw this big square block right here, and I'm not even going to worry really what it looks like, right? Just a basic block there. And then really look at the white areas and the gray areas here. You know, again, that's that mortar in between. You know, and then look at the next rock here too. I'm going to look at that. I'm going to look, but kind of while I'm looking at the rock, I'm also looking at the space in between each rock. Okay, so that's that. And see, there's another rock over here. Kind of goes like this. It's kind of like a... Alright, so I'm going to draw that too. And now again, I'm going to keep in mind how much space is in between both of those rocks. And there's a little rock right there. And then there's another big rock underneath here. And it's almost as big there. So see how I'm drawing those? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Again, I'm leaving the pattern in between. And then like, there's one right here. And some like a little thin rock. And then there's another one here. Again, it doesn't, at this point, it doesn't have to be perfect because it's just going to be the kind of look and feel is going to be the how you're going to get that brick look. Alright, and then down here, these are like almost right on top of each other, so there's like no space in between. So really just try to pay attention to all the little shapes and stuff. They're not all square bricks, as you can see. Like this is a weird shape, and like this is a weird shape, and look at that. That's like doot doot doot. Looks like a boat or something. You know, something weird. Really try to draw what you see. All right. Now it gets kind of tricky. It's kind of a little bit blurry, and I realize that's been an issue too. That the actual artwork. The photos have been kind of blurry for you guys, so it's been hard. Alright, and then I'm just kind of, you know, I can barely see it, so I'm just going to have to make it up here. Okay, so that's kind of an area right there. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start shading that in to give you that sense of light and dark. So my strategy is going to be, I'm going to take my pencil and I'm just going to do this all the way around. I'm going to introduce to you a term called addition and reduction in drawing. Addition is when you add value or color to something. So if I make something darker, that is addition. If I use a trusty eraser to make something lighter, that is called reduction. So as you can see, it's all one value, right? But if you look at this, there are tons of different values. There's gray values, there's really, really dark values, and then there's the really light values. And then there's like values in between. There's like really light values, and then kind of light, and then kind of gray, and kind of dark. So really look at all of those. Don't just settle for one value. So like this one over here, I'm going to really try to do a good job of getting that nice piece of dark stone. See how that works? And I'm not coloring it all the same either. Like some's dark, some's like a little lighter. There are darker areas, like maybe at the side here. And again, I'll just observe the actual picture and kind of go from that. Try to go from that as best you can. Another thing that I told you guys is that these rocks here are not flat rocks. They have a top, and they stick out a little bit, and then there's a bottom, right? So especially on this one, I'm going to make the bottom a little darker than the rest. What that's going to do is it's kind of make it pop out. Do you see how that works? Boop, pops right out. It's a really cool technique that you can use to make something look like it has dimension to it. Kind of create that darker area. It looks like it's below, like the light is hitting this, and then because this is going back into space, the light's not hitting it, so it's a lot darker. Hope that makes sense. Same thing here too. See, there's like a darker rock. Oop, you can color in the lines there. And I can press down really hard on some areas. Maybe I want to bring that out a little bit more. And then this one's not as dark. So I'm gonna take another. So what's this called? Addition, right? This is addition. We're adding value. I'll go over this with you guys in class, but just keep that in mind. Addition. And then down here, again, I'm gonna do that dark value, and see how that makes it pop out? It's kind of cool. It kind of makes it look like it's three-dimensional. And this one here too. Now this one too is another dark value. And again, I'm just doing it based on my observation of the photograph. Again, it's not all the same. And see how my marks are circular. My marks are kind of like this. Same thing up here. Now this one's light, isn't it? Yeah. It's lighter than the rest. But look at that dark area right there. See that? Kind of makes it stick out. And then this one too. Now this one's a little darker than this one. Compare. You know, this brick is as dark as that brick, but that brick is lighter than both of them, right? Look at that stuff. Pay attention to that stuff. Your drawings would be a lot more accurate and a lot nicer if you do. Okay. And then these ones are actually kind of light, aren't they? Yes. Same thing over here. See, there's like a little dark area on the side, though, of that one. And like they just... And now my marks are circular. See how that's working? See how that's starting to come together as a wall? Now, I'm just going to keep going here a little bit. Sometimes there's areas where little highlights are coming up too, and we'll use the reductive method in just a second, but right now using the addition, adding in. And sometimes I might not even follow in my lines. Maybe I'll just create another rock by going inside out. See, before I was drawing like the outline and coloring in. This one I'm coloring in, and then just where I stop coloring, that's where my line stops. There's another one here. See that? Alright, now, do you see also how some of these areas get a lot lighter? Like way up here, if we're drawing up here, this is, that's almost pure white right there, but down here, it's still a lot of gray, but you can see that that's not dark enough gray. Remember, that's the mortar in between, so I'm going to go ahead and use the side of my ebony pencil to create that darker value all the way around. I'm going to do it all the same way all the way around, because you can adjust it. It doesn't have to be perfect right away. You can always fix it and tweak it. Better, right? You know what? This is still not dark enough. As I'm looking at it, I think it can be even darker than the way I have it already. Closer, huh? And that's why you guys, if you haven't already, use the ebony pencil to get those really dark values. Because a regular pencil can't get as dark. Getting there, almost there. It's a process. It doesn't get dark. It's not perfect right away. Alright, you can use your finger a little bit to blend it in. What I might do too, actually this makes it really shiny. That's what you're seeing. See that right there? That's actually the shine of the pencil. You can kill that a little bit just by erasing, but that's the way the lights is hitting it. If I actually lift it up, you can see that it doesn't actually look like that. And you can see now how dark it is comparing it to this. But you can see too, though, that I still don't have this dark enough. It's really darker. It's better, right? Yeah. Now, some of the areas are light though. Maybe some of those areas will have a highlight. So you can take your eraser, and this is reduction. You can actually come in here and erase certain areas, and then that creates that white, those little highlights. Do it based on what is on the page. Don't just do it randomly. That's what I'm doing. I'm looking at my page, and I'm looking at where some of those highlights are, and I'm putting them in. You see how that works? Alright, I'm going to keep going in a little bit, but I'm going to pause for now so you guys can try that out, and I'll be back with you.